Shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakadash, double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that rule well, and Shalom to all the Akim that are teaching this word around the globe with faith and truth and sincerity. I am the brother Caleb from the GMS England London Forecasters Camp, back with another lesson to help edify the Lord's elect. So, as always, start by saying we are the real Hebrew Israelites. The real Israelites are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, West Indians, West Africans predominantly, but you will find Israelites that do look like the other nations, because we as a people have been scattered amongst all nations throughout our various captivities. But if your seed line by your forefathers goes back to the man in the Bible that was named Israel, then you too are an Israelite, no matter what you may look like, because the book of Numbers chapter 1 and the 18th verse clearly states that your nationality is determined by the lineage of your forefathers. So I just want to do a quick lesson here going into this newspaper article I saw recently. Headline, on the Daily Mail. Now, the Daily Mail is one of the major newspapers here in the UK, and you really got to ask yourself what the agenda is behind them publishing stories like this. I think it's going to be quite clear to see what the agenda is once I break this down. So the Daily Mail, you've got this headline above anything else, right? This is the first, top banner, the most important news. It says, "When my husband died, widow's fire drove me to have sex with 15 men in a year." So this is in the female magazine, starts at page 29. I don't know who the fuck this dusty ass looking Edomite is here. But obviously this is getting women to consider the prospect of whoredom. Not that they hadn't already considered it, but they're using this term widow's fire. Now, what the fuck is widow's fire? It means you just wanted to fuck bare dudes, but somehow, some way, you didn't have the guts to do it while your husband was alive, but now he's 6 feet under. You start running around with 15 men in a year. Now, I'll say this: 15 men in a year is a conservative number for these women. But this goes to show you that, all wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. But Esau's using these newspapers to seduce and put these thoughts into the minds of the women out here for them to destroy themselves even further. Because according to the law, if a woman is married, she's only supposed to have one husband. When that husband dies, she is allowed to marry, but she's not allowed to marry 15 other men. The next person she would take after the death of her husband, because once the husband dies, she'd be loosed from the law of marriage to that spouse, that husband. She can take a new husband, but the first guy she takes after that is now her husband, and anyone else after that, well, that's the act of adultery. But Esau's not going to tell you the true law on adultery. He's going to try and get as many women as possible to be doing these types of things. And to be honest, I imagine there's probably a lot of people doing this right now, and they're calling it widow's fire. But really, again, it's just like these soap operas, right? Like, over here in the UK, you got some major soap operas like EastEnders and Coronation Street and Emmerdale Farm, all this kind of shit. I don't watch this shit, but when I did back when I was younger, all them soap operas do is to implant seeds into women's minds to make them think that, oh, I could have an affair and get away with it. Oh, she done it on this show and she had a good time and nobody found out. I can do this too. It's all the power of suggestion, which is through Esau's witchcraft, which is his media, which is which is broadcast through the television, through these newspapers, through all forms of media, through the literature, through the books that are written, to the films that are released, to the songs you hear on the radio. Everything in this society that comes from Esau is designed with a purpose, and that purpose is to further destroy the people and to get them to, mainly to get us Israelites to keep transgressing the laws of the Most High, because that will allow Esau to continue his reign, or so he believes. But at the end of the day, is Job chapter 14 verse 5. Let me get it quickly. Oh, I'll come back to Judith. Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee, thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. So the Most High has put a time limit on this man, this Edomite, for his rulership, which is also tying into the prophecies in Daniel, is it Daniel 2, Daniel 7, about the kingdoms, the vision he had of the kingdoms. Look, man, Esau's time's already set, so his time's running out. He knows it, but he's trying to trick the world and convince the world that he's the man that's going to rule forever. But when Yahushua comes back, Esau's rulership's going to be cut asunder. So let me go back to Judith. In Judith, the 8th chapter, it describes the characteristics of Judith, because she had a husband and her husband died. Let's read this. Now at the time, Judith heard thereof, which was the daughter of Merai, the son of Ox, the son of Joseph, the son of Oziel, the son of Elkiah, the son of Ananias, the son of Gidon, the son of Raphim, the son of Ahito, the son of Eliu, the son of Elab, the son of Nathaniel, the son of Samuel, the son of Salsadel, or son of Israel. And Manasseh was her husband of her tribe and kindred, who died in the barley harvest. For as he stood overseeing them that bound sheaves in the field, the heat came upon his head, and he fell on his bed and died in the city of Beth-Ulia, and they buried him with his fathers in the field between Dothaim and Balimah. So Judith was a widow in her house 3 years and 4 months. So did Judith have widow's fire? No way. And she made her tent upon the top of her house, and put on sackcloth upon her loins, and wear her widow's apparel. And she fasted all the days of her widowhood, save the eves of the Sabbaths, and the Sabbaths, and the eves of the new moons, and the new moons, and the feasts and solemn days of the house of Israel. So, and she was of a goodly countenance, and very beautiful to behold. And her husband Manasseh had left her gold and silver, and men servants and maidservants, and cattle and lands, and she remained upon them. So Judith was faithful to her husband, and it goes, verse 8, and there was none that gave her ill word, as she feared God greatly. So Judith was loyal to her husband even in death, and she was much favoured of the Most High. Now, I'm not saying that women whose husbands died have to stay widows forever like Judith did, but you know what I mean? It doesn't give you the license to play the harlot and commit adultery. Only Esau's going to try and seduce your mind into doing that. But, you've got to come out of the ways of this world and come back to the law of the Most High and adhere to the scriptures. Sirach 25. I'll read these and I'll close out. Sirach 25 and 21. Stumble not at the beauty of a woman, and desire her not for pleasure. A woman, if she maintain her husband, is full of anger, impudence, and much reproach. A wicked woman abateth courage, and maketh a heavy countenance, and a wounded heart. And a woman that will not comfort her husband in distress, maketh weak hands and feeble knees. Here we go. Of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. See, because the woman's the weaker vessel, Esau targets the women and seduces their minds into a pattern of thinking, which then causes the men to follow after the women. So he gets the men through the women, just like the way the serpent tried to deceive Adam through Eve, or get to Adam through Eve, because Adam was not deceived, but the woman was deceived. He used the woman, so it's no different in this day, because there's no new thing under the sun. So it says, give the water no passage, neither a wicked woman liberty to gad abroad. If she go not as thou wouldest have her, cut her off from thy flesh and give her a bill of divorce and let her go. So yeah, man, the scriptures are pretty clear on what the law of adultery is, and Esau's trying to get women to transgress against it. And you know what? He's doing a damn good job, because a lot of women out here are completely lost in the sauce. They've got no clue what's going on. But hey, they'll find out soon enough. So with that, giving all praises, honor and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Makakadash, double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone at well. Shalom to all the Yakim teaching this word around the globe with faith and truth and sincerity. I'm out for this one, and I'll catch you on the next, Lord willing. Shalom for now. Wa Baba Bawa Kama Shalom.